Alrighty, good morning, everyone. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Chase Franks. I'm hopping in here a little early to make sure you have an updated look on the forecast for the week ahead. So here is what you can expect going forward. A First Alert Weather Day has been issued for the day on Tuesday, as we are anticipating very strong storms to make its way into the forecast into Tuesday afternoon. If you have any questions, please hop in on Facebook, and I would be happy to answer them as fast as I possibly can. But just a rough summary of what we're anticipating for the day on Tuesday. Noon to about 8 o'clock is whenever we'll see these storms roll through our forecast. Good morning, Josh. As you are heading on out for the day tomorrow, you will be looking at a couple isolated sprinkles, maybe earlier in the morning. Most of us really not worrying about the storms until the afternoon hour. So after about lunch, you'll see the system roll through the forecast. And this is something that we do need to take serious. Level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk. And you might be thinking, what does that mean, Chase? Well, we're talking about tornadoes, some of which could be fairly strong. Large hail anticipated up to quarter size and damaging winds possible up to 70 miles an hour. Not even associated with this line of storms, we're actually going to be looking at a good chance to see winds up to 40, 45 miles an hour ahead of this line of storms. So be mindful of that. We'll start off right now, though. It's live satellite radar showing you a couple passing showers. Again, it's going to be tapering off as the day continues. Not expecting a lot of rainfall for your Monday, but Tuesday, we will be talking about this main line of storms. So let's talk about this in an hour-by-hour forecast. So I have it set up to where this was set up for my earlier morning show. So obviously the timing has shifted and changed. So let's go through all the new details. So into the early morning hours, we look relatively quiet in Monday into Tuesday, and then we really turn our attention to Tuesday morning. We wake up 6 to 7, not really have to worry about much into your forecast period for Tuesday morning. But look at what's developing off to the west. That line of storms all moving into the forecast. Now looking at to be noon to about 3 o'clock for areas west of I-55. So please be mindful of that. I want you to be aware that this the timing can shift, the timing can change. If this front is faster, it could be around noon, maybe earlier. It could be a little bit slower. So we'll have a very clear idea once it actually forms tomorrow morning, well off to the west in Shreveport. But it should be into areas west or along I-55, anywhere from noon to about 4 p.m. So 4 p.m. down. 4 p.m. and earlier, you're going to be looking at areas along into the west of I-55. Along into the east, 3 p.m. to the later period, so around 8 for some portions of eastern Mississippi. So, but if you notice, let's go back to the morning or the evening commute time. So 5 to about 6 o'clock. It stays off to the east of I-55, but still, if you have friends or family over in eastern Mississippi, it's going to be heading towards their direction around that evening commute. So give them a call, give them a heads up for areas along I-59 and to the east. So east of I-55 is where we'll be looking at. But by 10 o'clock and midnight, nice and quiet. So once you see this first line of storms push through, you don't have to worry about the back end of it. We will look to stay relatively quiet. So we're really going to be focusing on the fact that once the storm passes through, you're quiet on the back end. So that is the little victory for us here at home. You have that main line. It's going to be very strong, very severe, but afterwards, not looking at really much. So here's just a rough threat likelihood for the day tomorrow. So tornadoes still a bit of an issue. If they do form, they'll be very strong storms just based off of the wind gradient. And we're also looking at just a good amount of daytime heating. The instability is going to be very high. The conditions for storms is going to be, I'd say, very compatible into, I guess I'm trying to find the words. It's towards the end of my morning, people. So give me a little bit of a break. But again, the conditions are definitely going to be something that we have to watch out for. They're going to allow for storms to get going and become very strong. And in the likelihood that that does happen, we're going to be keeping y'all updated in the best chance and the best possibility that we can. Now, obviously, damaging winds are going to be the biggest problem. So associated with that line, you're going to have a lot of bowing segments. That's what a lot of the models have been trending towards. So the bowing segments, and what that means is we'll have the winds actually control that frontal boundary a little bit more than it should, or rather it shows us that the winds will be upwards of 70 plus miles an hour. So damaging winds could be possible. So in that bowing segments, that's where we look for in those lines to actually see where that wind has taken over. The tornado likelihood goes down in those segments, but the damaging winds increase tenfold. So I just want you to be aware that damaging winds, highest likelihood, even before the rain gets going, we'll have winds moving in out of the south at roughly 30 to 40, maybe even 45 miles an hour. So we'll have that become a bit issue into the day as well. But large hail, very low end risk, flash flooding, low end risk. I just want y'all to be aware. We'll pull up another look at this. This is a look at CAPE. So the storm energy that is available in the atmosphere, that if this system taps into it, it can easily throw up some concerns. So I want you to be aware of that right now, showing you a look that's obviously not impressive. We'll update this right now to see if there's an updated look. Again, not too impressive on the storm energy here in central Mississippi. But again, I want you to be aware that obviously that can change. This can all change. Here's actually the update from the Storm Protection Center. Still has us in that level 3 out of 5 risk. Again, for much of central Mississippi, we're not really seeing too much of a change there. Again, not really seeing too much of a change. Does anyone have any questions in regards to this? I want to make sure I get to them now, because I'm about to hop off here and then we have a tour coming in. So I want to make sure I get to all of you now to make sure your questions are answered, make sure everyone else has the information that they need for the system so that you are prepared. I want to make sure you're prepared and not scared. That's my favorite saying. I've known that saying since I was a little kid. Be prepared and not scared when it comes to severe weather. And I fully believe that all of you should be with this system, because we're anticipating very strong storms. And a lot of you might be at work. So this is something that I didn't even bring up this morning, and it just clicked in my head. A lot of us are going to be at work into the day tomorrow. So know your safe space at work. I'm sure you might know it at home, but do you know it where you work? You might not. So go through that today as in anticipation, because we'll see this storm system roll through a lot of us in that work time hour. What's the timeline on that front? So let's show that. So this is Holly. She posted the question, what's the timeline for that front? So the timeline for the front is actually going to be from about 11 a.m. to about 5 or 6 o'clock into the afternoon for the state of Mississippi. Safe assumption, lunchtime. So 11 to noon till about 8 p.m. over into eastern Mississippi and western Alabama. So I wanted to make sure I included a lot of our friends and family over into the Meridian, the Hattiesburg area, up into Starkville. Just be aware that this storm system will be rolling into the forecast into that time frame. It's before the evening commute for most of us here in central Mississippi, and that's always a good thing. So you don't have to be out driving in it. Find your safe space at work. Know where it is. Please know where your safe place is at work. That's really when we'll see these storms roll through the forecast period. But if no one has any more questions in regards to the system, I might not be live answering them, but you can still post them to this webpage, and I will gladly get to them throughout the rest of the day today. If you have any exact locations that you would like to know about, Vicksburg, you'll see it a little bit earlier. Same with Natchez. Jackson, you'll see it a little bit more towards that noon to about 5 o'clock timeframe, anywhere between that 5-hour span. And again, once that line passes through, we're done, people. We look good for the rest of the week. Let me show you the 10-day forecast. One last look at that 10-day forecast before I let y'all go early this morning. Again, for that 10-day forecast, we are going to be looking at some big changes. We go from the 60s today, and we see a little bit of rainfall into the forecast period, down into the 70s for the day tomorrow. So we're really going to be warming up quite a bit into Tuesday. That's something that we should be mindful of. Daytime heating is going to play a massive role in the amount of instability that's in the atmosphere that it could tap into. So I want you to be aware of that. The warmer it gets, the sunnier it gets into the day, the more likely we'll see those stronger storms continue into the forecast period. So again, have ways to stay updated by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We look picture perfect again. We look fantastic. We see another chance of rainfall this weekend, all associated with another weak front moving in Friday night into Saturday. Obviously, that can change too. We'll continue to keep you updated though, but that's all I got for you now. Again, please stay safe. Please stay weather aware. Download our Wlbt First Alert weather app. You hear us all say it all the time, but again, I want to make sure you do it because this is a serious situation. I want you to be prepared and not scared going into the day tomorrow. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out to any meteorologist on staff. Maybe your favorite one. It might be me. Hopefully it's me. If it's not, that's okay. But still, reach out to any one of us and we'll be happy to answer any question that you have at any time. Have a great rest of your day today. Stay safe, and we'll have more updates for you throughout the rest of the day.